Okay folks, here's a quick review of the G.I. Joe Arctic Strike Destro figure that was produced by Hasbro as a part of the G.I. Joe Pursuit of Cobra line of products. I got this at Super Target for a clearance price of $5.48. Now when I first got the figure out of the blister pack, my reaction was somewhat mixed. The hip joints on this figure felt loose and also somewhat fragile. I was also disappointed to see that one of his accessories, the frost cannon, was warped. His shoulder articulation is also hindered due to the pads on his shoulders. However, as I looked at the figure more closely, I did start taking a liking to his sculpt, and I also like seeing the mix of white and silver on Destro's head and his jacket. It shows that he's been working in extremely snowy and icy conditions, and it was nicely painted on the figure. The green in his eyes is also nicely done, and his jacket has some nice detailing, but it doesn't appear to be removable. So what I'll do here is pause and zoom in and give you a closer look as to what the figure looks like. Okay. Alright, Destro came with 8 accessories in addition to the figure stand that you see him standing on. So let me pan down real quick and I'll show you what they are. Okay, first up he came with a pair of ice axes. And I've seen these used to scale mountains in extremely cold weather conditions. Next up, he came with this pair of goggles. Let me show you what these look like real quick. Just like that, see? Alright, these slip on and off of his head fairly easily, and it does add to the appearance of his being in cold weather conditions. Next up, he came with this pair of ice decorations. And again, this just adds more to the figure's overall appearance of having been in cold weather conditions. Next up, he came with this ice drill. And as you can see, there is some nice detailing on the engine. Okay, finally, he came with this handheld blaster and the aforementioned frost cannon and this backpack. Now, the frost cannon shoots water, and it works via pressing this button on his backpack here. And it should also be mentioned that the backpack does peg in fairly nicely onto his back. However, these two weapons don't really resemble any sort of weaponry that I'm familiar with. Back to the figure itself. What I'll do now is a quick 360 of the figure and let you see what he looks like from all sides. Okay. So overall, I don't think this is a bad figure. The fragility of his hip joints and the shoulder joint hindrance and the frost cannon being warped, that did cause me a little bit of concern when I first opened him up. However, the paint applications are nicely done, and many of his accessories are nicely rendered as well. So therefore, I will give this figure a good recommendation. Okay, so on that note, take care and stay tuned for my next review. Have a good one.